My goodness, man. I gotta say, my head freaking hurts. It is pounding. What a night. UFC 268 is over. Of course, the main event was Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington, but the fight that started off the main card, of course, was Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje. What a banger of a fight to start off the main card. And these two guys, they really, really set the tone. Of course, before the fight happened, the question that I had personally was, A, are we going to see more wrestling from Michael Chandler? Because only standing with Justin Gaethje, regardless of who you are, that's a recipe for disaster. It could go downhill really, really quick, especially now that Justin Gaethje has changed up his style a little bit. He's a lot more measured. He's a lot more careful with what he's doing, as opposed to just rushing in head first and being overly aggressive. Right now, Justin is so much more dangerous than he once was, and so I was thinking maybe Michael Chandler is going to come in. He's going to look to wrestle a lot more, maybe try to replicate what Khabib did. Of course, you got to be Khabib to be able to replicate what Khabib does, but maybe he can get close. Maybe he can use the takedowns to set up something else. The fight starts off, and the first thing, of course, that I notice is that Michael Chandler is doing a very good job early on. He was doing a very good job of dealing with the leg kicks, and he was dealing with it with explosiveness, with very good movement. He wasn't really dealing with it with trying to check it. Of course, as we know, it's very difficult to check those low calf kicks. So Chandler was just very bouncy on his feet, very fleet-footed, very compact. Every time Gaethje would throw a leg kick, he would slide out the way, which is exactly the best way to deal with those low calf kicks. We've talked about that a million times. Trying to check it is not going to work. The best way to deal with it is to completely slide the leg out and let it whiff. And so Chandler was doing that. He was doing a very good job of that. But as always, the longer you stand with Justin Gaethje, Chandler was doing a very, very good job. At one point, he was able to sting him a little bit. But the longer you stand with Justin Gaethje, the more the fight is going to go downhill. And I'm not going to talk about every single moment of the fight. What I will say is that it is worth a watch if you've not seen it. It was an incredible, incredible fight. Both guys really gave it their all. Now, close to the end of round number 3, Michael Chandler was it almost seemed like he knew what the result was going to be, and so he really wanted to demonstrate his toughness, so he kept his hands down. He was eating shots, taunting Justin Gaethje, asking him to hit him, and all this stuff. But overall, a really, really solid fight to set the tone for the main card. After that, we got Shane Burgos. Shane Burgos, the next guy to fight, he fought Billy Quarantillo. Now that was another fight that was a freaking banger, and they were saying on the broadcast that on a normal day, that is an incredible fight. On a normal day, that is a fight that gets the crowd going crazy. But we just saw Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. It seemed like everybody was just trying to still calm down from the banger of a fight that we just saw. And now Shane Burgos is also giving us a really, really amazing fight. He ended up winning the fight. Really, really good performance. Very enjoyable fight. Which reminds me, EA, can we please get Shane Burgos in UFC 4? Like, what are we supposed to do to get Shane Burgos in UFC 4? It's about time. Let's please give us Shane Burgos. And can we also get some unique animations for that man? Because he's got some very good boxing skills. He needs something unique for him. Anyways, right after that, of course, is Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Chito Vera. My goodness, man. Oh, what can I say about that, dude? It is getting pretty, like, as a fan of Frankie Edgar, and as someone that's not used to seeing Frankie Edgar get flattened, it is getting very, very annoying watching that. Like, I'll be completely honest with you guys. I am tired of watching Frankie Edgar get stopped in the octagon. For a very long time, the man was he lost fights, but it was mostly decision. He would get hurt really, really badly, but he was known for having a really good heart, and he would always come back and do very well. But man, from getting stopped by Brian Ortega to getting flying kneed by what's his name? Who's the guy to fly? Freaking forgetting his name. He just fought. You know who I'm talking about. My brain is dead right now. To getting flying knee KO'd. I believe he also got TKO'd. Hold on, let me just pull this up so I make sure that I'm actually saying this correctly. So Frankie Edgar, I believe in his last 7 fights, he's been stopped 4 times. I know that for sure. He was stopped by Brian Ortega, KO. Then he was stopped by the Korean Zombie, TKO. He was flying kneed by Corey Sandhagen. And now Chito Vera also stopped him with a front kick from hell. I mean, the fight was going really well. Frankie was doing a very good job. And then out of nowhere, man, boom, front kick. Classic front kick, like the Anderson Silva style front kick. You know, goddamn, bro. Face down, referee stops the fight. He was protesting it a little bit, but I mean, if you watch that, it's pretty clear. It was pretty clear that he wasn't gonna recover from that, or maybe he would have. I mean, this is Frankie Edgar that we're talking about. He probably could have recovered from that, but it was a bad drop. The way he dropped, I mean, you could just tell that he was pretty much done. So there you go. I don't know where Frankie goes from there, but I'll be honest, man. I'm really tired of seeing that man get stopped in the octagon. I'm tired of it. Anyways, next up, I believe, was the co-main event, Rose Namajunas versus Wei Li. Wei Li, the first fight, of course. In the first round, Rose Namajunas knocks her, stops her with a beautiful lead roundhouse to the head. Now, we all knew it was not going to, the same thing is not going to repeat itself. It's just not. That was like, not that it was a fluke. It definitely wasn't a fluke, but it was one of those like stars aligned shots where everything just happens perfectly and you win the fight. So second fight, of course. Now, personally, I was expecting Wei Li to be a little bit more aggressive. I really was, because when I think Wei Li, I don't think the words that come to my mind are strong, fast, aggressive, tenacious, Muay Thai. I'm not thinking point fighter, backing up, retreating, tentative. I'm not thinking those words when I think Wei Li. And so when the fight started off, Wei Li, clearly, as you can tell, she had a game plan. And the game plan was fight on the outside and use leg kicks. She was focusing very heavily on leg kicks. I think the game plan was use the leg kicks to start breaking down Rose Namajunas, because Rose moves very well. And when you have a fighter that moves very, very well, that depends. I mean, all Trevor Whitman fighters, you see a very similar style of movement from them. It's very technical. It's very textbook. And of course, if you want to deal with that in and out movement that they're doing, the best way to do it is to target what's moving them around, which is their legs. And so it seemed like Wei Li, the game plan was break down Rose Namajunas with the legs, with the leg kicks. Avoid long boxing exchanges, or specifically avoid technical boxing exchanges, because Rose definitely is better at that. Rose has better hands. It's pretty clear she does. It was going pretty well. It really was. Not only was it going pretty well on the feet for Wei Li, landing really nice leg kicks, but she also clearly worked on taking down Rose, which is something that I did not expect. But every time they would tie up, it was pretty clear who was stronger. I mean, Wei Li was more physically stronger than Rose, and she would get these takedowns. Spent some time in full guard, spent some time in half guard. Rose would try to elevate her and use a sweep to get back up to her feet, or to sweep position and end up in top full guard. But Wei Li was doing a very good job of switching her hips and ending in half guard every time Rose would try to do that. So she was, very well versed on the ground, did not fall into any submissions. Of course, Rose was looking for a triangle. She was looking for arm bars. I believe at one point she was looking for leg locks, but Wei Li was very aware of every single submission being thrown at her, and she was doing a very good job of nullifying all of them. But as the fight went on, Rose, of course, started to pick things up. Started to really pick up also started to implement her own grappling. And in round number 5, that definitely sealed it. She shot a beautiful, beautiful takedown, got Weili down to the ground, and I believe she spent the whole entire round 5 on top. And when you're able to do that, especially in the championship rounds, this is what typically lasts in the eyes of the judges. And they gave Rose the fight. I thought she won. I really did. But you could maybe make an argument that Weili should have won the fight. I know a lot of people made that argument. It is an argument that you can make. But personally, from watching the fight just once, I might need to go watch it again. It looked to me like Rose, like the right person won that fight. Like the champion should have retained her belt. And then we move on to the main event of the evening. Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington, the fight that everybody was waiting for. The fight that I was very nervous waiting for that fight to happen because I know how good Colby Covington is. I know how good he is. I really do. And then when the fight started and I was watching it, it was like, to me, I was like, dude, Usman is so much better than this dude. Because I believe it was in round number 2. Yeah, round number 2. Usman dropped him badly. Dropped him once. Face down. Looked like the fight was about to be over. Colby pops back up. Usman drops him a second time. Twice in one round. I'm watching it. I'm like, dude, this is not going to last too long anymore. Colby is ready to go. The dude is wobbly. He's barely there. Usman is coming on strong. He still got, he's good. I mean, this fight's about to be over. I'm like, dude, from what I'm seeing right now, dude, it does not seem like Colby's on this guy's level from what I'm seeing. And then as the fight goes on, it seems like Colby Covington went back to his corner and decided, okay, I'm going to wake up now. Because come round number 3, it was like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? Like, Colby is now moving forward. Colby is throwing combinations. Colby is tagging Usman. He's actually hitting him. He's stunned him a few times. I'm like, oh my God. Yo, was he asleep in the first 2 rounds? Like, is this ring rust? Is this what it is? Because he's been out for a long time. Maybe he needed a few rounds to warm up and get into the fight. Maybe he needed to get hit a few times to get it. I don't know. But something changed and he started advancing. And the story of this fight, and it makes perfect sense because this is what these two guys are good at. This is what they're known for. They're known for moving forward, advancing, taking the center of the octagon, pushing their opponents back. That's what they're good at. And so, of course, in this fight, whoever is able to control the center of the cage, whoever is able to back the opponent up, that's most likely who's going to win the fight. Because, especially with their striking styles, they're not exactly counter strikers, these two guys are. They're more aggressive style strikers. And so if you're pushing forward and you're forcing the opponent to react to you, and the opponent that's reacting to you is not a very proficient counter striker, of course you're going to be winning the exchanges. And so the moment Colby switched things up, started to force Usman back, of course Usman resorts to kind of, what he used to do before Trevor, which is, head down, swinging wild. Occasionally you see old versions of Usman seep out, especially when he's pushed. But if you're not pushing Usman and he's comfortable and he's taking his time with his breathing, you see the elevation in his striking. That's when he's able to think through what he's doing. You see the movement is really good. The hands are high where it needs to be. He's faking. He's thinking about the shot selection. But when you force him to get into a fight, he goes back to what he typically does. And that's normal. I think the more he works with Trevor, especially in these situations where it gets very gritty and it gets dirty, I think the more he works with Trevor, he's going to be able to depend more on technique that he's learned, even when the fight gets chaotic, But yeah, fight keeps going on, and it's back and forth. It really is back and forth. Now, round number 5, I definitely think Usman won round number 5. Round number 4, I also gave to Usman. Again, I might need to rewatch these fights. The round that was debatable, the round that was very, very, very debatable in my opinion, was round number 3. And in that round, I probably would give that round to Colby Covington. I need to watch it again. But overall, of course, Usman ends up winning the fight. He wins it unanimous decision, 48-47 across the board. I think maybe one judge gave him 49-46. I don't know. I think so. But just from what I'm remembering, I know it was a unanimous decision. Kamaru Usman wins the fight. But the best part of the whole entire fight for me was the end. When it was over and the two guys came together, I would need to go back and listen to what Colby said. But I believe he said something along the lines of, I have nothing but love for you. This is just me trying to promote the fight. This is me trying to make some money. No hard feelings. And I'm like, duh. Like, we know. You know what I mean? We know. At this point, everybody should know that what Colby Covington is doing is an act. It's pretty much an act. Now, sometimes does he go overboard? Yes, of course he does. He goes overboard. But it's not real, you know? It's just not who... It's not... The real Colby Covington seems to me like he's a great guy. He just does. And I've said that for a very, very long time. I've said that for a long time, and I'll keep saying that. Of course, Usman is one of my favorite fighters in the whole entire world. I like Usman more than I like Colby Covington. But I also appreciate what Colby does. I appreciate the fact that his back was against the wall, and he did what he had to do to keep his job. And not only keep his job, but to actually keep his name in people's mouth. You know, to go from someone that is kind of forgettable to someone that is very polarizing. Someone that when you hear their name, it actually evokes an emotion. That's a very good thing. You hear Colby Covington, you feel something. You're either, yeah, USA, 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 Marty Fake News Man, fuck yeah, blah, blah. You're either that, or you hear Colby Covington and you go, what a racist, what a bad guy, whatever. You feel something, right? So, they're very good for each other. They really are. They bring out the best in each other. I think every single time these two guys fight, they're going to get better. And whoever they fight next, holy shit. Whoever Colby Covington gets in there against next, holy fuck, I'm sorry for you. Whoever Kamaru Usman fights next, I'm sorry for you, because they elevate each other. Every single time they fight, they elevate each other. And that's what it's about. So, that is pretty much it for this fight card, man. Like I said, my head is freaking pounding. I'm going to try to go to bed. Head is killing me. Just really, really, really good card. Really good fight card. The prelims. Let's not talk about the prelims. I mean, we had 6 KOs in a row. Back to back to back to back. Like that's really, really good. If you didn't watch the fight card, go back and watch it. You're going to enjoy it. But man, that is it. That is where we're going to end this one right here. I have been talking for 18 minutes. Oh, 18 minutes. I am going to end it right here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section what you guys thought about the fight card. And I will see you guys later with a brand new one. As always, stay safe. Peace out.